Hello, the runDisneyers. It's Manny. It's been a while. So sorry, I've been busy, but and there hasn't been a lot of news. But today I'm actually going to make some news. So stick around to the very end of the video so you can find out what I'm going to do. There's a reason why I'm wearing the Coast to Coast shirt. And so let's start by the usual, guys. You've done an amazing job. Thank you very much. You've been interacting with me. I appreciate that. You're the reason this channel keeps growing. You're the reason I'm going to be doing what I'm going to be doing, so that you guys have some good information. So guys, keep subscribing. The subscribership is going up. It's about to reach 700. I'm pretty sure it'll reach there pretty soon. Again, we want to get to 1,000. And again, little by little, I'm going to start adding incentives. But guys, keep commenting down below. I appreciate your comments a lot more than you think. Guys, ask your questions. Your questions, your comments will lead to future videos. So thank you guys for doing that. But I do have a couple of things coming up I'm not lying. I do have a couple of things coming up in the horizon. So let's get right to it. So let's start with Disneyland. They actually put out some pictures, more detailed pictures of what things are going to look like. So let's start off with the 5K. So first off, let's start with the 5K, which is Pluto. And the Disney World 5K is also Pluto. Next, we got the 10K, which is Donald and Daisy. And guess what? The half marathon is also Donald and Daisy. Then we get over to the half marathon, which is Mickey and Minnie. And again, the week before, the Mickey and Minnie are for the marathon weekend. So it's not a coincidence. And of course, we have the Dumbo Double Dare. That one is going to be amazing. That's going to be awesome. So I hope you guys got into it. And let's get to reaction. So guys, the way I looked at it is we're going to have three basic things that we discuss on this channel. Number one is going to be news, is what we just did. Number two is opinion or reaction, which is what I'm about to do. And the third one, which I'm not going to do today, is a how-to video. But those will come, and you've seen my how-to videos. But let's go into the reaction, what we just saw. So guys, if you notice the 5K, and I invite you to take a closer look at the picture of it. And so it's basically very basic. So basically very basic, which means it's very, very basic. Okay, but we're just gonna basically, if everything works out the way it's supposed to, we're just gonna run around Disneyland. I don't think we run a lot in the other park, but I could be wrong. I've never done a 5K there. I've ran many challenges there, never done a 5K there. That actually sounds funny. But I think they only run in one park, but if they do, they touch the other park. But let's get to the 10K. The 10K, if you notice inside the D, there's a lot of different rides, a lot of different monuments. So like the front of California Adventure Park, that big monument is right there. So guys, we're gonna run in both parks. That's gonna be the two-park one. And we're really not gonna go much outside of there. Now, when you get to the half marathon, you look at it, got a lot of things that they have in the 10K. So we're gonna be running in both parks as usual. Downtown Disney, they call it over there. And then we're going into Anaheim. But basically, it's stuff that we've already known. And again, I have something at the end of the video. I'll get to it in a little bit. But I think you guys are going to like that and appreciate this. So guys, let's get into more news, because it was last week. And yes, I missed it. But last week, they had to sign up for the virtual series, for the summer series, which was basically the 100th anniversary. So let's take a look at the medals. So first off, we got Steamboat Willie, which is awesome. One of my favorite characters. Then we go into the Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is the second of the series. The third one is the Runaway Railway. So this one's a fun one now that it's over there in Disneyland also. And then we got the 100th Disney Challenge medal. So the medals are very, very cool. I love the medals. I think they're excellent. So those of you who have signed up for the virtual ones, you guys are lucky. You're going to get some really, really cool medals. I think, and as last I checked, the challenge was still open. I don't know, and that's all three of them. So it brings me to something that is, again, an editorial response or reaction and so forth and so on. The pros and cons of doing a virtual run. I had a discussion with a lady, and it got me to thinking a lot. And so a lot of people, because I know people post and so forth, and I just want to put everything out so that, you know, people who want to do one, it's great, it's fantastic. And here we go. I'm going to start off with the cons of running a virtual, and then we're going to go to the pros. So the cons are, basically, it's not a live run. So you don't get to run with the actual course that they have for an actual 5K at Disney. So you don't have the actual monuments there, the actual attractions, the actual characters, and you don't have that there. And so those are that's one of the cons. The other con is that it's pretty expensive. It is expensive for a run. People will say, but it's not as expensive as going there live, and you have a real good point about that. So yes, it costs a lot more. Almost, it was over $100 now for a 5K, and it's $43 for a virtual. So that I can see. So actually, that's going to transition me to the pros, because that's basically the biggest cons. There's still minor ones, but I think those are the major ones there. But again, now the pros are you don't spend a lot of money on these. And that could be very, very great for some people. It's awesome for some people who can't afford to go to these runs. And I look at it in a way as having at least some kind of Disney experience without actually being there. Another pro is you get to do it whenever you want to. So you can get up one morning and say, okay, I'm running the 5K today. And you can do it whenever you want to. Another one that people don't understand, just to piggyback on doing it whenever you want to, you can actually go on site and run a 5K. And that's one of the things that I will be doing in the future is videotaping some courses at the resorts. So you could, it's harder to do it inside the parks, especially when the parks are open and during the summer when they're packed. But you can do it at the resorts and you still have some pretty good views. Some people have been very, and I gotta stress, very creative. When I kept thinking to myself, I wouldn't do it because these people proved me wrong. I got to see some videos of people that set up their own markers. They had water stations. They had family and friends cheering them on. And I thought this was the best thing, is people would actually either dress up in costumes or they had little dolls of Disney characters and they would stop and do a picture. Especially with what you got to work with. I think it's amazing. I think it's great. And, that's another pro because it goes into your, your creativity. And there's a lot of you guys, and now again, I found out, and I said it in my last video, a lot of you young guys are watching the video. You guys are very creative, so think about it. If you're going to be doing them with your parents over the summer, what can you do? Let me know what you're going to do, because I think that's great. If you ever want to share the video, I'll put it up. I'll put it up because I think it's amazing what you guys do. And again, there is a lot of pros also for doing the virtual. And again, you do it on your own time. You don't pay as much money. You can be as creative as you want to and still make it into a Disney experience. And so it's one of those things. It's a matter of choice. So I always tell people, be respectful. There's some people who just either choose to do it virtually, and I'm all for that. And there's people who choose to do live runs, and I'm all for that too. But I think it's amazing. I think it's great that, especially the way some of you guys react to this. And that's it on that topic, and let's move on. So I promised you that this means something. So Disney, coast to coast, Disneyland, okay? So guys, I am going to be going to Disneyland. It looks like I'm going to be going to Disneyland later in May. And so last part of May, I will be there for the closing of Splash Mountain. At least that's the plan right now. So what I thought of doing is getting there a day before, and I am going to record everything that I remembered, where the start is, where the finish is, how to get from the resorts there. A lot of the resorts, or a lot of the hotels over there, they're more hotels, because a lot of people are not going to be on site. So there's Catella, there's Harbor, there's Disneyland Drive, there's a lot of different places. So I thought I'm going to take one morning or afternoon and just walk and record a lot of these ways, so that way you guys have a better idea of how to get there to the expo. The expo's in Disneyland Hotel. I don't think that's changing, which brings me to my next point. So in social media, I've already put it out there, because I sat there going like, what do you guys want to see? And what do you guys want to see? So when I record out there, is there a specific hotel that you want to see? I can't go too far out, but if I'm in the area, I'll record as much as I can. I'll record the main streets, the main hotels, the main area, and I'll record how to get there to the start. It's going to be pretty simplistic. It's going to be pretty easy to figure out. If I can do any of the courses, that'd be great. But people have already started saying, are you 100% sure that this is where everything is going to be? So I'll go one by one. So the expo, when I started doing this in 2008, 15 years ago, now it's going to be 16 years when we do the next run, it's always been in the Disneyland Hotel. I have never known it to be outside of that. So the common sense thinks, where else can you put it? The convention center is across the way, but I doubt they're going to rent out the convention center to do something that they can do in the Disneyland hotel. So I think the chances of it staying in the Disneyland hotel, the expo part of it, I think are great. I don't think it's going to be switched. Again, can it? Yes. Will it? I don't think so. Now, when it comes to the start, the finish of the race, and the courses, you have to remember this, guys, that Disneyland is not like Disney World. Disney World is a city. They have a lot of areas that they can start with. Even though they start at Epcot on the most part, or outside of Epcot, I should say. They have started at Magic Kingdom. They had started at Wild World of Sports. They have started at Animal Kingdom. They started in different places, okay? Guys, they don't have that same luxury at Disneyland. At Disneyland, it's a lot smaller. There's 2 parks in the downtown area and, of course, 3 resorts. So, and you got to remember that you got to pack in over 10,000 runners. So there is a street by downtown Disney that we usually start on because you can pack up all those runners and then have the spread once you get into the parks. So can they change the start? Yes, they can do anything they want to. Will they? I just don't see it for the same reason, simple reason that I just said. Where would you put all these runners? So again, if you were going to start off in one of the parks or right in front of the parks, you would have to pack in all these people. And again, I don't see it happening. So to answer the question that a lot of you guys have had, which is a fantastic question, do I know for a fact this is going to be where I'm going to record in a month or so, or a month, this is where the start's going to be, this is where the finish is going to be, and this is going to be parts of the course. Do I know 100% that that's a fact? No, we won't know until a couple weeks before January, maybe a little earlier, but before the race we'll know. But I have a feeling it's going to be that, because again, just think to yourself, and maybe I'm missing something because again, I don't go to Disneyland as much. I've been there once in July, this past July, and I looked around. Where can you pack in 10,000 runners and not have some kind of bad congestion unless it's right on that street? It is a street that's right next to Disney, downtown Disney, and that's where you started off. And the finish line is in the parking lot behind, I believe it's a Disneyland hotel, so I'll be recording that. But that's where they have this area, big area, that they can manage the overflow. They can manage the finishers, they can manage the overflow. I hope that makes sense to you guys, but again, I'm going to be recording, so finishing off, I'm going to piggyback on the last question that I asked. Guys, do you have any request? You're going to be staying at this hotel. I'm going to be staying, I believe, at the Anaheim Discovery Inn, which is just a hotel. It's not anything great or anything, but it's basically right across the street on Coachella from downtown Disney, so I'm not too far from there. I'm going to be able to walk down. I'm going to make it a point to walk down to Harbor. I'm going to be able to walk down a little bit to Disneyland Drive, a couple of other streets. But guys, is there anything in particular that you guys want to see? Put in the comments down below. I'm already making my list. I am going to make a whole video on all these things: the start, the finish, where the expo is going to be, and again, general walking from different hotels. And so that way you guys can get a basic idea. Maybe you guys have already gotten your reservation, but then you say, oh man, this one's better, and you can find a reservation closer by or different and stuff. Whatever it is, guys. But guys, again, any ideas, put them down in the comments down below. Any hotels, any requests that you have, put in the comments down below. And with that said, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for being you. Create a magical day. Create a magical run, and see you sooner than later.